is Bloodbike Australia?
Right. Well, Bloodbikes Australia is an independent group of volunteers. We all operate under the same agreement. Basically, is our commitment to each other and to the healthcare providers that we work for. We're actually a last resort service to get anything medical from where it is to where it needs to be.
And how did it all start?
I started here in Brisbane in October 2019, the Mater Hospital. But it actually was inspired by a mate of mine who's in blood bikes in Scotland. In the UK, it's been going for 30 years and it's quite established. It's slightly different. It works under the National Health Scheme over there, and it's the primary source of transport, whereas in Australia what we are is the last resort.
So what does that mean exactly?
We don't want to take anyone's job. If we get involved in any commercial arrangement, but when all other options have gone, then they can call on Bloodbikes Australia.
That's absolutely awesome. And in terms of joining the cause, what are some of the basic requirements for those that are interested?
Okay, we've got what we call our agreement, and you need an open licence for the motorbike you ride, so there's no P-platers. You need to have comprehensive insurance for your motorbike that covers the volunteer work you're doing, and there are a number of insurance companies that have said that they do cover it. You just need to check your PDS, but Shannon's, NRMA and SWAT cover the volunteer stuff. It has to be properly registered. There is a code of conduct. We have a vest that is the same for everybody that's our uniform. And also, importantly, every volunteer must have a blood transport certificate you can get online.
So how many volunteers do you already have working for Bloodbikes Australia?
We now have 164 volunteers Australia-wide in all states and the ACT, and now we're about 12 healthcare providers, so it's pretty cool.
That is absolutely amazing, and that would have taken quite a while to get to, wouldn't it?
It's like just over 12 months, and we've now done 250 deliveries. We are last resort, so when you volunteer for us, it's not particularly arduous, because we are last resort. We've actually developed an online way that you can keep your availability up to date. What happens is we have a read-only link that each of the healthcare providers that work for have, and then they can just simply hit the link, see who's available, and ring them direct. But we are last resort, and the idea is that we can dovetail into the end of that. When there is no one in the right place, it's a slightly different service. We're not an organisation. We're not even a charity, because all of our volunteers volunteer everything. So we don't need money. We don't have any use for it. We all volunteer everything. And the other thing is that in the UK, there are a lot of cars used as well. There's no reason why we can't have members that want to drive their cars, especially in regional New South Wales. It would be ideal. They simply would have to follow the same rules. It's actually even more pertinent in regional New South Wales, because one of the big things that advantage of motorcycles in the city is the lane filtering ability during peak hours, right? But you don't tend to have the need for lane filtering, and often in towns in New South Wales, I know there is a peak hour in Moree, but it only lasts for not very long, and there's usually not a lot of traffic there.
Yeah, pretty much. And as this organisation is still quite new, do you have issues with people not knowing what you guys are trying to provide?
Yeah, that's our biggest challenge. We've got two challenges at the time. We've got lots of volunteers, but we can always do with more volunteers, especially in your region. And it's also about letting healthcare providers know the services available. And we're doing it bit by bit. We now have submit pathology in Moree as the healthcare provider that we work for now. But we're happy to work for any healthcare provider. We also would like more volunteers so that we can be lanes, and that particularly will be pertinent in regional New South Wales, so we can actually arrange so that no one volunteer has to drive all the way.
So how do you organise these relays and work throughout all of Australia?
We have regional coordinators to be a communication hub, someone that a local person can talk to, so a local can speak to a local. So we've got we have regional coordinators. They're just communication hubs.
Yeah, so they just kind of make it a bit easier for everyone around the area, and then it's a point person, really?
It's a point person, and it allows, well, I suppose also it allows for flexibility in the way people might want to communicate. They might want to communicate to me as the founder through the Facebook page or through the website, or they may want to just communicate with their local coordinator. We have a website which is www.bloodbikesaustralia.org.au, and on that site has all the information. We have a Facebook page, which is just Bloodbikes Australia. You can always like that, join that. And then a lot of our volunteer inquiries come through the Facebook page. And you can private message, so I answer those private messages and then set each volunteer on, send them all their information and set them on the path to becoming qualified. As I said, we've got 165 volunteers Australia-wide now, but of that 165, we actually have just on 100 that are fully qualified and active and ready to go.
And what has been the most rewarding part of creating this non-for-profit organisation?
Well, there's sort of two levels. The most rewarding part overall is how we have been able to be part of the fight against COVID. Most of our work at the present time is about COVID, and it's about, because there's been so many pop-ups for COVID, that has created a situation where the current transport system that is in place can't all of a sudden invent time. And so that's where the idea of a last resort alternative really has come into its own. It's been very rewarding, and we do that in a number of times, and doing it. We love riding, so it's sort of doing something we love.
What has been the most rewarding part for you personally?
Personally, I think I got the biggest sort of high, if you like.
Yep.
It was one time when I had to take some blood from the Mater in Brisbane out to Springfield because a leukemia patient was having a transfusion. And I mean, I swear, I think my bike was a hovercraft on that particular occasion. It was like you felt like $1 million when you were doing something so good.
Well, I mean, you think about what you're doing and you're helping someone else and potentially saving someone's life. So it's an amazing cause, and I congratulate you on doing something like this, because it would have been really hard to get off the ground, but so worth it.
It has been, well, as I say, it hasn't been hard because I started just as myself. It was, in a funny sort of way, it was really quite selfish. I like the idea of doing good, and I wanted to go out for a ride, so I started it. And I realised that there's probably lots of other riders that would like to do the same thing. And so I created a framework whereby it allowed people to do that. And that's to do with, it just sort of has evolved. And, people come and say, yeah, right, and it just sort of keeps on growing. And it's the number of fantastic people we have volunteering. And we volunteer everything. I mean, it's totally selfless. They supply the bike, time, they pay for their own uniform, fuel, everything. And I think that's another one of the rewarding things from my point of view, is the calibre of people that we have volunteering is amazing.
Exactly. Like, considering it's people that you've never met before, but everyone kind of standing together, especially in times like these, and help people out, which is absolutely amazing to see.
It is great, and it's a feel-good thing to do, and as I say, I'd love to have more volunteers. I'd love to know that this service is available, and they just need to get in contact with me through Facebook. Just find Bloodbikes Australia and like it, and you can send a message to me and I'll answer it. We started being motorbikers, but as in the UK, if you are not a motorbike rider but you'd like to volunteer and you'd like to use your car, we have stickers you can put on your window, and you get the uniform and fulfill all the requirements, and then you're ready to go.
Well, thank you so much. This is absolutely amazing to chat with you. Hopefully we've got you some new volunteers or people interested.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening. And I look forward to hearing from your listeners.
Well, thank you just for chatting to me about it, because it's an absolutely amazing idea, and it's crazy to think that it hasn't even started that long ago.